Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So ladies, I want to talk about, or gentlemen, but more so for my ladies because I'm going off of experience. As you can tell by this title, we're going to talk about, how to heal from someone leaving you for someone else. It's probably one of the most gut-wrenching feelings that a woman can ever feel, and feeling worthless and questioning yourself and what you could have done and what you did wrong and how you're not good enough. And right now you're probably looking at this video like, I need help. I don't know what to do. How do I get them back? What do I say? Or maybe you're just feeling like, I feel useless. I don't feel good enough. What's wrong with me? Or maybe you're just tired of stalking that other girl's page and you want to look for certain solutions. Now, I'm only going to talk about my experiences and what I've been through, and this is not professional advice, but this is more so where I'm at now and where I used to be. I am very content on being single, so I actually am going to make a different video about that, but right now we're going to talk about the healing process of someone leaving you for someone else. Now, there are two different type of guys and situations that I can think of when they leave you. One, they leave you for an ex or someone they used to mess with before you. Or two, they leave you for some girl that they infatuated about, some girl who kind of looks like a celebrity, or someone with a big boobs or big butt, or like the Instagram model type of girls, and you're just you're not an average girl, but in your eyes, you're gonna look at yourself like, this is what he wanted, and I didn't have that. So we're gonna talk about those type of guys. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of background. I've been in situations where I've talked to guys on the phone and we built like somewhat of a relationship, and I really had a good time talking to them and getting to know them, and I felt like we reached like, that 3 months in, and I'm really starting to feel them. And it always felt like when I started to really have feelings for someone, they just like go ghost on me, or they would either, and this was back in college, guys, this is some years ago, so they would either like, kind of like, I start to stalk their page, like, just have that gut feeling like there's someone there. They stop texting you as much, they stop calling you as much, and you have these signs, but you're like, all right, like, obviously something else has his attention. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna sit here in front. I would go on their, like, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and I remember there were incidents where I would see them tweeting a certain girl or talking about them, and I wasn't their girlfriend, so I would never bring it up to their attention, like, hey, why are you talking about this girl? And one time I actually did, and I felt like I looked crazy because he was like, at the end of the day, like, that's not what it is, and you're tripping. Like, they'll try to flip it. So I never said anything. But there were situations where they were either chasing after this girl. It was never, never had to deal with someone going back to their ex, per se, from what I remember. But it was more so like that type of girl, that bad girl, or that girl who had a kid, or that girl that was a party girl, or the girl that had the big butt and the boobs and was out there and playing dudes left and right. They were chased after that girl, and I was so-called the good girl. So I've dealt with situations like that, and I've also dealt with a situation where I was actually really feeling someone. I was talking to them for months, and he was an older guy, and he would always just talk about like a type of girl he wanted to date, a girl, mixed girls, and how he liked the curly hair, and he liked girls that had their natural hair and the light skin, and he would always talk about skin color, and he was a different race. So where he looked like he was mulatto or so, but he was a different race, and he had like an infatuation, and I just always would be like, well, why are you talking to me? And at the time I had a perm in my hair, so I didn't have this kinky curly of goodness on my head. This is all my hair, by the way. I have my natural hair out for this video, just awesome. But yeah, so he would talk about those type of girls, and I went and got some weave that like mimic like mixed girls' hair, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I did it for the wrong reasons, to try to like please him. And come to terms, you can't please somebody who, it's not that they don't want to be pleased, you can't please someone who's not pleasable. And that has nothing to do with you, and how you shouldn't change yourself to please somebody and look a certain way, because at the end of the day, this person also has insecurities that has nothing to do with you. So therefore, I got the hair and it still wasn't good enough. Let's talk about like different hair and like skin tone, and how if I was any darker, he wouldn't talk to me, and that I was just enough, like, you know, trying to tap into my self-esteem. So that already bothered me enough. And then, you know, things ended when we got in an argument, and I felt like it was an excuse. The argument was an excuse to end things or whatever. And I'm not going to go into detail about that, but the way it ended was very, very tragic. It was very horrible, and the way he did me dirty with that whole situation. So I obviously stalked his social media, but he blocked me on one social media account, and then I just went to his other social media account because we weren't friends on there, so he didn't know how to like block me. And so finally, sooner or later, I was 2 months in, I looked at he tried to reach out to me to see if I was okay, and he asked me, was I okay? And I ignored him, and I'm so glad I did, because the best revenge to do to an ex is ignore them. And so I ignored him. I didn't answer any of his messages or anything, like, yeah. And so that always left him wondering, like, what is she up to? So finally I looked on his Facebook, and I saw that he posted a picture with a girl that looked exactly the way he described he wanted to be with. And when I tell you that this feeling of just like ugliness, of it took a really, like, the breakup already took a hit at my self-esteem, but to see him with a Hispanic looking girl or whatever, a girl with like mixed curly hair, or her hair wasn't even like curly the way he said he wanted, but it was curly enough. It was like wavy, curly. She looks Hispanic or something like that. I don't know what she was. Maybe she was mixed. I don't know. But he wanted, you know, a girl like that. And that shit hurt. It was such a slap in the face, because it's literally 2 weeks after me and him stopped, like, our relationship. 2 weeks. So you're already posting pictures with this girl within 2 weeks. And you know, ladies, we're going to do our calculations. You're not going to post somebody within 2 weeks of meeting them on your social media accounts to your friends and family. Obviously, they were talking, you know, well, because I looked at the date, and the way he posted it was 2 weeks after our incident. So he was proud to like show her off, and like, it just made me feel like I wasn't good enough. It made me feel like, wow, like, I tried everything to please you, and I did nothing to please myself, which is one of the reasons why I am natural to this day. I cut off the weave, and I still wear weave, don't get me wrong. I love switching it up. I don't like to like have, because I live in an area, I live in Texas, so it's very like hot down here, so it's not good for my hair, so I like to wear protective styles. But I said, you know what, if you're not gonna love me, I will never attract anyone ever in my life again who's not gonna accept me for fully who I am. And I would never get into a situation where I'm with somebody who is that misogynist, racist, or however you would say it, colorist or whatever. And I grew out my natural hair, and it's been 4-5 years now. I can't really think about it, but I think it's been like almost 5 years now that that I have been natural. I'm getting off topic, but I just kind of wanted to tell you about my story and how I healed from that. I didn't completely heal, because I got into a relationship with my now child's father, and I always had this like thing where I just wasn't good enough. And the best way to heal from someone leaving you for someone that they infatuated over is looking at yourself in the mirror. And it's not easy, because you're not going to believe it the first time, but really evaluate things about yourself that what made you attract someone that didn't see the beauty within you. I believe in manifestation. I believe in the power of tongues, however, which way you want to go about it. But I definitely believe in the words that you speak about yourself, and then you start to believe it. And then God or the universe or whoever you want to call it responds to that. And I went natural for the one reason. I went natural and I looked at myself and I said, it's not about you. And I'm going to tell you that it's not about you. It's not about you not being good enough. It's about that person looking for something to value themselves or what they think in their mind is standard beauty. And you don't want to be with somebody that thinks like that. It's not a healthy mindset. This person is obviously probably really insecure and probably rely on looks and materialistic things that are materialistic, or that type of person is usually the type that tries to chase after women of a certain look. Not to say that they don't want to be with someone who doesn't look good, but someone who chases materialistic things, because as you know, or as you should know, that when people chase materialistic things, it's obviously they're trying to complete something in themselves that's very incomplete. This person suffers from low self-esteem, a big ego, and they try to cover it with their big ego. They're usually narcissistic personalities that they have, and they blame everyone but themselves, and they try to surround themselves with people who make them feel like they're worth something. And they're like, you know what, if I can get this type of girl, then I look good, like I look like I can bring somebody like this around. Like they're infatuated with being with someone. They're very infatuated with not just the person, but how they look. And those things tend to fade, and their relationship seems like a roller coaster up and down because they're always trying to chase the next big thing. And people like that are usually not happy at the end, because you're always on the run of trying to find the next best thing, and you're not looking at yourself and saying, maybe I'm just an incomplete person. Especially if you feel like you have given your all in this relationship and you've done everything to please this person and they were not pleased, the next person is not going to please them, and they're going to find flaws and try to like I said, this ex, like he got with this girl, and I was like, stalking for a while, and finally I stopped and got over it and moved on. But he was making her lose weight. He was making her work out. I mean, he was like literally making her become like anorexic. So, and she allowed it, and I'm so glad that and he also tried to make me become like that, but I was like, he found out that he could not make me do the things that he wanted her to do and like control me. And that situation was more so a person that wanted to control someone, and he knew he couldn't control me. So he's like, I gotta go, because I can't control her. I can't control her and manipulate her. So I'm gonna do it to somebody else, and that's who he's with. I don't know. Also dealing with that, you just have to realize that it's not you, it's this person that's a lost soul. And honestly, I would just pray for them and say, I'm so glad that I am not with someone who's going to drag me down to their level, and realize that it's not you. You are beautiful. And materialistic things, it's a lot of women out here, and as you see, as they get older, they may have the big butts and the boobs and the abs and all this other stuff. Erica Mena is a perfect example. She's up and down with relationships and relationships after relationships. Amber Rose after relationships after relationships. Black China after relationships after relationships. And if you don't know who these women are, they're basically women who have big butts. They have the infatuation of like, wow, they're that it girl at one time. They're that party girl. That shit gets old. It gets old, and they know that. And this guy definitely has tried to reach back out to me multiple times over the years, and always tried to find closure. And I never gave him that closure because I just completely ignored him. And yeah, and he see me living my best life. And the best revenge is basically like, all right, even though you're gonna cry, and it's okay, cry in your bedroom, cry, but I want you to also journal. Pull out a piece of paper, get a notepad, get a notebook, and write down how you feel. And after you write down how you feel, write down how you want to feel. Not involving this person, but just you inside. Write down how you want to feel and how you want to see yourself. And then make a list of all those things and read over them and say, I am this. I am that. I am beautiful. I am confident. I am going to be loved or something. And keep doing that. Every time you feel low, make sure you get up, take a shower, don't lay in bed, and also make sure to stay off of his social media. Now, I'm not the best example because like I said, back in the past, I stalked everyone's social media, especially if I was dealing with you. Now it's different, but back then in the day, I looked at everyone's stuff to know like what's going on, and you can't help it. But if you're not talking to this person, when you go and look at their social media, ask this one question: did I feel good after looking at this person's social media? Did this make me feel any better looking at his social media or her social media? If it didn't, why do you keep hurting yourself? Why do you keep putting that band-aid of healing on and then ripping it off? And then the worst part is social media is very fake. So these people can look happy and take pictures and look like they're living their best life, and they're miserable and they're not happy, or this person is not really what it seems like in a relationship. So don't judge a book by its cover, because social media is there to fool people and not really let them in to the real things that are going on in life. And you're not going to see the arguments. You're not going to see the cheating, the lies, or the cries, and whatever else they're going through, or how they may be looking at your social media account, missing you and what you had and the realness that you had. So, and one thing I can promise you is that 9 times out of 10, they will text you. It would either be a, hey, how are you? I was just thinking about you. Or it would be, I miss you. Or it would be, hey, long time no talk, or whatever. But they will be contacting you, because they always do. There's not one ex I've talked to that didn't come back and try to talk to me. They don't even have to be exes. They were just guys that I talked to. They didn't come back. And it was actually probably one guy who really kind of didn't come back. But the best revenge was I bumped into him, and I was doing so much better than him in life. And his face looked like crazy, like, wow, I'm so proud of you, you're doing big things. And he's just like, yeah, I'm still lost in life, basically. And I was like, thank God that didn't work out, thank God. And you have to just trust the universe and understand that God will never set you up in a situation where he will make you miserable for a long time, or this person will destroy you, or this person is not good enough for you, or this person will never grow to the level and expectations that you have for them. Now, I'm also going to talk about a guy who leaves you for an ex. This is a hard pill to swallow, because you would think that, why would you want to go backwards? What did I do to make you miss your ex? Now, I personally never dealt with this before, but anybody who would chase someone of their ex and get into a serious relationship with someone else is someone who is going back to something that's comfortable. They're going back to something that's comfortable, or maybe they done that person dirty, and now it's hitting them that, you know what, maybe there's certain things about her where I didn't have to deal with this. But then they're not thinking about, the bad times. They're only thinking about the good times that they had with that person. So they're going to try to go back down memory lane and think that it's better, but it's like not better, because it's a reason why you guys ended in the first place, So Usually when they go back to their exes and they get in a serious relationship, that means that person never healed from that past relationship and probably from another past relationships. And it's just mean that this person is incomplete inside and they're unsure of what they want in general. They don't know who they want, and usually this type of person have difficulties loving themselves. And so they go back to comfort, as in, well, I remember she used to make me feel like this, so I'm going to go and ignore all my issues in this relationship and go back to something that was fun or something that was less stressful, which is not true because it's a reason why they broke up in the first place, you know? And so, you know, and if the girl is sitting there waiting for him, that means she's never gotten over the situation too. And they're just two broken people, once again, being back together. Now, I do want to add in here that some people can realize that they made a mistake by breaking up with their ex and leaving their ex for someone else. And there are signs that you should pay attention to where if someone just newly got out of a serious relationship, please do not date them thinking that you can fix them, because they probably are still in the healing process and may want to go back to their ex once they realize their mistakes. So just be wary of that. And the cycle is going to repeat itself. And like I said, social media can fool you. They may look like they're happy. Well, that's how their relationship started off in the first place. Why not just start over and press the reset button and go through this circle of fucking destruction back again? So don't envy something like that, because they're just going to go down the same line of things once again. I've had a girl reach out to me, and there are a couple of girls who reached out to me and said a guy had reached out back to their ex. Now, there's different reasons why guys reach out to their exes. You know, like I said, it's something that they miss about that person or something that they never got over with that person. And that does not mean that you are not good enough. It just means that this person jumped into something with you maybe that they weren't over in the past relationship. But if they're just as messed up to leave you for an ex, they're still just as messed up as being with that person when they broke up. So they're not really still a good person, because if they didn't end things with you peacefully and going into something else was carrying that weight of hurting someone else in the process and not caring about their feelings, this person is a very selfish person. They don't care about the ex's feelings and they don't care about your feelings, because they don't even know what they want in life and they don't even care about how they feel, because all they're doing is just self-destructing and going back to a past where it's just comfort. And they usually go back to an ex where it's like, well, they're just focused on the good times, and then they're going to be reminded why they broke up again. So, and it definitely hurts your self-esteem, because you feel like, well, what did I do wrong for you to leave? What did she do that I didn't do? And you feel like you've done enough, then you've done enough. You did everything that you were supposed to do as a woman. You did everything that you were supposed to do as a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, or a fiance, whatever you were good enough. This person did not deserve you, and let her deal with his hell, because the same way you lose them is the same way you get them is the same way you lose them. So most guys that I know of who are in a relationship one day and then they jump out when things get stressful and go back to something that's comfortable, they usually are the type that like to go back and forth in the relationship between the two women. I've seen it a lot. I've seen guys revert back to something that's comfortable to them, that made them feel good at the time, make them feel like a man at the time, or try to escape one problem and avoid it because it makes him realize, like, I gotta face my own demons. I don't want to face my own demons. This woman is making me become a man. I don't want to become a man, so I'm gonna go back to something where I didn't have to become a man, or I'm gonna go back to something where I didn't have to feel like I was being challenged to grow. So I'm gonna go backwards. Yeah, I'm gonna go backwards to something. And if she's open and willingly taking him back, then that explains a lot about them. Let her have him, because she had him before and she lost him before. You just know that you are not going to be that ex that he can just jump back to whenever he feels like he wants to jump back and forth to, because then there's no value there. And you have to give yourself value. If you don't give yourself value, they're not going to treat you with value and say, hey, I'm not going to let you come back in here thinking that everything is okay and begging your way back and chasing me like you chased me before, and you chased her and then you left her and then we met and then you chased me and then you leave me and then chase her. That's not how it's going to go, buddy. See, this is the time for you. When you go through a life transition of someone leaving you, it's not them leaving you. It's God pushing them out the way. Because a lot of people block your blessings. They really do. They block your blessings. They block you from things that are happening, or they may envy you for your successes and you may think that they're not, but people really do block you spiritually, especially if they're messed up inside. They have self-esteem issues. They stunt your personal growth. So just look at it like, wow, I must be entering into a new level in life, and that's why this person was pushed out. Because every ex who have left me, or every guy who have technically left me for someone else or talked to someone else, I'm so happy, because what I saw, what they did to that person, they hurt them way worse than how they hurt me. And it may not seem like that, or they ended really, really bad, or something crazy didn't happen, and I'm just thank God I didn't have to deal with that. Or maybe they got them pregnant and now they just horrible, whatever. So never envy other houses, like I said in my previous video, because you look on social media and you're like, wow, they're so happy. Like, they look so happy. They're enjoying life. He did this for her. He may be giving her flowers because he cheated. Okay? Like, you don't know. Don't envy other houses. All you can do is grow self-love, self-esteem, gather yourself back again, and be wiser to make sure that you are always aware of who you are. And you have to look at yourself like, I am the prize, because I am whole as a person. I'm not just coming in saying, I need you, I need you. If you feel like you need somebody, or they leave you and you feel abandoned, that's personal issues that probably happened from childhood that you need to deal with, because we all probably have childhood trauma or something that happened in our life where we're just very vulnerable and very codependent on someone to love us. And that's why it hurts so bad, because you're repeated. Like, maybe you lost your dad, or your dad wasn't in your life and you're just used to men leaving you. Or maybe me, for example, my mom died when I was a baby. So I always have this abandonment issue, because as a mother now, I know how children attach to their mother. And once that mother stops coming around again, you're like, that feeling, it's like just an attachment that you would never have. And I felt abandoned in a way, and I didn't know, but subconsciously, like as a child, I felt like my mother abandoned me, even though it wasn't her fault. She died, but that carried on into every relationship. I was like, no, don't leave me. Don't leave. How could you leave me? I love you. Like, I love you. Like, why would you do this to me? And I would be that type of person. And now I am so content and full of myself, of love. And I love myself so much. And I love everything that I built. I refuse for somebody to come in and tear that down, because like I said, there are spiritual blockers out there who intentionally, don't even try to, but intentionally go out and hurt other people because they're hurt inside. And you just gotta pray for them, but you gotta focus on yourself more. And remember, every time you wanna go and look at their social media, and if you do slip up looking at their social media, ask yourself, did that make me feel good? Did that make me feel any better? Did that add value to my life? And maybe you're petty and say, yes, they look like hell together, or, whatever. But at the end of the day, that doesn't add any value to yourself. And just know that you are good enough. And I need you to take out a notepad and write down and journal every day about how you feel and how you want to feel, how you feel about yourself, and how you want to feel about yourself. All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. And just remember, you are loved, you are beautiful, and make sure to practice your affirmations by saying I am and I am and I am. That is very, very important, and do it until you believe it, because the first time you do it, first couple of times you do it, you're not going to believe it, but after a while, you're going to say, damn it, I look good. Damn it, I am beautiful, I am loved, and I will be all right. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below, like and subscribe for more videos. Bye.